I have decided to document me knitting a headband. And it probably sounds a bit ridiculous because there are a lot of videos out there documenting knitting bigger garments. And I would love to do that as well. I've tried to do that several times, but it just takes me so long to knit a garment that it just seems like it just doesn't work for me, basically. So sometimes it'll take me half a year, sometimes it's even gonna take me a year, and I just don't have the patience for that, in terms of recording it, I mean. So I've just decided to knit a headband and thought maybe some of you would like to follow along. I've decided to knit the Joe headband by November Knits, and it's just a very basic stockinette stitch headband that is folded, so it's held, like it's basically double fabric once you're done with it. And I have not looked too much into the specifics yet, but it just looks like you are knitting it round and round and round, and then at the end you're just seaming it together and you have a lovely headband. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna find a pattern and just talk a bit about gauge and things like that, because I can't even remember, but I do remember that you need 2 strands of a yarn. So I have found some yarn and they are here. So obviously I am going for a red headband. I want something with color for this spring, not spring, autumn and winter. And yeah, I am just really into red at the moment, so that would be fun. And I am going to use this yarn by Isère. I don't know if it's gonna focus on that at all. I got a new camera, so I'm trying to, this is my first time trying it out, so hopefully it shows what you need to see. I'm gonna do a close-up as well so you can see it. And then I have these contenders here that I am going to choose between. I have a, I think this is a Tusindfryd wool yarn, which they do not any longer produce this yarn. And I guess this is more brown than it's red, but again held together with this. I think that would be a really nice combo. Then I have a Pickles yarn. This is their cozy, and that's a blow yarn. And I think this is probably the only yarn that I could use not held double, because the gauge is, what is the gauge? It's 14 to 16 stitches per 10 centimeters. So this could just be enough using this yarn alone. Then I have this yarn, which is a 100% wool from J.C. Rennie & Co. And I bought this a long time ago at Edinburgh Yarn Festival when that still existed. So that's a nice little souvenir from that. And then I have these two, which are both my organic non-superwash DK weight yarn in 2 different kinds of red. So far I am leaning towards this combination. I am at the front page of the pattern here, and it basically says everything that I need to know about yarn, needle size, etc. So I have sizes, circumference, recommended needle size, gauge, which is 15 stitches per 10 centimeters, and then it has suggestions for yarn. And I'm not using the yarn that is suggested in the pattern, but I can tell that, or the pattern tells me that, I don't know if you can see down here, that 50 gram equals 100 meters. And that is important to know, especially when you use a different yarn. So you want yarn that runs around the same meterage, or you can, as I do here, because I am using a different yarn. So I also have 50 gram here, but this runs a lot longer. This runs 246, I think, 46 meters. It doesn't want to focus, there you go, per 50 gram. And so in order to get the same thickness as the patterns, the yarn from the pattern, I would need to hold this double. Because if I do that, then basically I have what equals 100 meters of that yarn that she uses in the pattern. She also uses a silk mohair, and I'm using this from Isa. Most silk mohairs I feel like run around the same meterage. So this one runs, so it's 25 grams. There we go. 25 gram equals 212 meters. And see, here is the pattern. It's almost the same. It says 25 gram equals 212 or 210 meters. So I'm good to go with that. And usually I would do a swatch if it was a bigger garment, but since this is just a headband, I think I'm just going to go ahead and cast on for the headband and then knit some rounds and then do a gauge check after that. a quick update on how it's going with the headband. So I ended up casting on again because I did not like the yarn that I initially cast on with. I didn't like the color. I liked the yarn, but I didn't like the color. It just was too, it reminded me a little bit too much of a Christmas color, and I just didn't like that. And also, I have it here actually, the contrast between the two yarns that I used are just not, they're too big. It gets like, it has a mild effect. I don't know if you can see, as you can see here, that I don't like. The contrast between the two are just too much for me, or for my liking. So I ended up, as you can see, I cast on and then I knit one round, and I was like, no, I don't like this. So I ended up casting on with this yarn, which is my own hand-dyed yarn, and it's quite dark now outside, so the color is not really showing up correctly on the screen, but I have recorded some bits of it. I think that shows it more correctly, but it is a lighter, more bright and vibrant red, and then I'm holding it with the Isa Silk Mohair, and I just like that better. I think I'm gonna get a lot more use out of this, and it just has a nice, yeah, like I said, vibrant look to it that I like a nice pop of color for a gray and rainy winter here in Denmark. So I think it's gonna be good. I not often, but not every time, but I often, when I am knitting stuff that needs to be knit in the round, which this does, this is the beginning of the headband, and you basically knit a tube round and round and round, and then you fold it over and seam it together, and that's it. It's very simple. And so I know that the inside of the headband will obviously be here with the cast on edge, and then when I cast off, these two are going to be joined, and that's going to be the inside, so I'm not going to see this part of the headband when I wear it. So for this, because of this, I just decided to cast on the number of stitches that I needed to cast on, then knit back and forth, I think maybe 4 rows, and then I joined it, because that way it's a lot easier to why can't I say that? Prevent the stitches from twisting, and I do that often. I feel like my stitches are often twisted and I need to redo everything. So when you knit a few rows, it's a lot easier to make sure that everything is aligned and the stitches doesn't twist as easily. So I did that, and you can see I joined here, so there's a bit here that needs to be seamed, seaming these together once I'm done. So far so good. It is day 2, I guess. Didn't get to do much today, but I do have the evening that I can do a bit of knitting now. So yeah, that's it for now. It is now day 2 of knitting the headband, and it is going well. I am this far into it, so I am not even sure how many centimeters I need to knit more, but I don't think it's a lot. And I actually think I may stop before what the pattern recommends, because I don't want it to be too wide. And right now I can see if I fold it together, it has a not quite the length that I want, but maybe I want maybe a centimeter or two more, and then I am going to cast off and then seam it together. So not far now. I did do a gauge swatch, or I was counting basically how many stitches I had per 10 centimeters, and I was off by 2 stitches, so quite off, to be honest. But I tried it on, as you can see here, and it fits, so not really any problem. I know obviously when I fold it over, it's going to be a little tighter, but I think that's going to be fine. It doesn't feel tight at all right now, so maybe it's going to be nice with it just being even a little more tight. So everything's going well, and yeah, I'm just really happy that it is taking such a short amount of time for me to do so. As I've been knitting on this, I really think that this would be a wonderful gift knit, because it is so quick and easy to do. So just an idea if you are a knitter and want to do gift knit, or obviously if you are a brand new knitter, this would also be a very good choice for like one of your first cast-ons, because basically it's a knitted tube and you don't have to do increases, you don't have to do decreases, and you basically just need to know how to do a knit stitch and how to join in the round and how to cast on, cast off. So you would definitely be able to do this one if you wanted to do that. And I think a lot of people are talking about knitting maybe like a dishcloth or something like that. And obviously if that makes sense to you, definitely go make yourself a dishcloth. But I think for someone like me, I would just be so bored, because it wouldn't be something that I was excited about. But I think if you want to do something for yourself or for another human or a dog or whatever, this would be good, because you would actually get a finished object that you could use or somebody else can use. And I think, for me at least, that's a lot more motivating than knitting a dishcloth or something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna continue working on this evening, and then I think hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to stitch it together and block it and have it ready to wear. here we have the finished headband, all nice and done, and I like it. I was just remembering as I was knitting it that I actually have a hat knit in the same color, but I generally don't wear my hats a lot, so I think this is gonna be better anyway. And that was also a reason for knitting a headband. I just often wear my hair just in a mum bun and it just doesn't work with hats. And I also often bike, and it doesn't work with having a hat underneath my bike helmet. So all in all, this is perfect, even though I have one in the same color. There is a slight ridge here that I don't really like, but that is from seaming, and I don't know if I could have done anything to prevent it. Maybe. It is showing off more in camera than it is in real life, so it's fine. And I'm probably the only one who's going to notice, really. So, yeah, done, and I'm happy. And like I said, definitely a perfect project if you are a beginner and want to knit something else or something that you can actually wear that is quite easy. And again, for gift knits and for just using up scraps, I did not use scraps, but if you have scraps, that would be perfect. Yeah, so I hope you liked following along. I know this is not, like I said in the beginning, a very complicated sort of knit project to document, but I'm just too slow to knit a sweater, at least too slow to knit it and then having recording. I think I lose interest. So for me this worked, and I hope it did for you too.